Hey, man, you're here at a good time for us because there's a lot going on with your former team, the New England Patriots, and they fire Gerard Mayo.
Yeah.
They hire Mike Vrabel. Yeah. What's your reaction to all that?
Well, first of all, I love the Patriots organization. I love Gerard. Gerard is like a brother to me, and I love Vrabel because I played with Vrabel. Vrabel was linebacker coach in Houston when I went to Houston, so. All this is family to me. I just think when it came down to the whole thing with Gerard Mayo, I mean, he was in a lose-lose situation for me, and people have to realize he inherited a team that Bill Belichick had. So what did you expect to happen? It's, Bill couldn't do anything with him for 3-4 years, and all of a sudden you get a first-year coach that's going out there and you expect for him to do what? So I didn't get it. I don't understand that. But at the end of the day, I'm glad Vrabel landed there because I do think he's a hell of a coach. I said, people could tell me and ask me about Mike Vrabel as a player, and I'll tell you what, he was a coach on the field. I mean, he sounded, he acted, he knew offensively, defensively on the field. So I know firsthand that he's going to come there with a mindset. And it's going to be respected, and he's going to win some football game. I'm just happy that the New England Patriots ended up with this guy since they, fired Gerard. But I think they're in good hands with this guy.
Vince, what I think happened is that the Jets were really coveting Mike Vrabel. They really, really wanted him. And Bob Kraft was up there thinking, man, if he goes to the Jets, I'm going to have the norovirus for like 5 years throwing up just looking at him in green. Yeah. So unfortunately, the timing of everything really landed at the feet of Gerard Mayo.
Yeah.
Now, you were teammates with him as well, too, right? Yeah. So you saw both ends of this. When you were a young guy, you came into the league as a rookie that was it was at 01? 04. So that was a Super Bowl year for you.
Correct.
And that's when Vrabel was at his height.
Yeah.
And was a team captain and a leader and everything. And then he left.
Yep.
And then obviously Gerard Mayo ends up coming in and he becomes a team captain.
Right.
Right. So you saw all of this. So that's kind of like the human side of everything. But at the end of the day, I think that Mike Vrabel's inheriting a good situation right now.
Yes. I mean, they have a quarterback, right?
Yes.
In this league, you have to be able to have a quarterback. That's just what it is. You can surround that guy with some players and playmakers, and you can play great defense and supporting cast around him. So he's coming into a good situation with it, knowing that at least that part is taken care of. Now, being able to fill a roster with some guys that can play football, that's going to be the challenge. That is going to be if Mike feels that it's not good enough, he have to make some decisions there. You have to be able to be competitive at this level. And what we've seen for the past 4 leading up when Bill, they just wasn't good enough. However you slice, they wasn't good enough. And some of those players are still there. So it comes, the question is, when is enough where you basically have to come in, clean house and start over. And you have to ask the craft this. How much patience do you have to rebuild? Because it don't happen like it's college in 2-3 years if you don't get it done. It don't work like that. When you was with Bill Belichick and you brought Bill in, you trusted Bill. You gave Bill time to build a championship level team, and he did that for 2 decades. But what happened? You gave him time at the beginning. Bill was coming in off of Cleveland and off of
the
Jets, and so it wasn't like he was coming in on a high horse. No, he was picking a losing coach. So, but they was committed to change and rebuilding, and Bill did that for 20 years. And it's a similar situation. Where you at now is, do you have the time, and are you willing to give the time what's needed to rebuild?
Talking to Vince Wilfork here on the Fan and CBS Sports Network here on behalf of Tums. How come you're not on one of these national pregame shows? My goodness, you're pretty good at this.
I love my schedule.
Okay.
I love making I could drop in and make some appearances, but I love my schedule.
Are you living in Texas now? Or?
I'm back and forth from Texas and Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when Bill Belichick was linked first to the North Carolina job, just as a football fan, observer in the media, I was like, there's just no way. He's trying to get some interest from the NFL, but they ends up taking the job as a former Bill Belichick player. When you saw him go to North Carolina, what'd you think?
At first, I had no idea what he was doing. I'm like, Bill in college? And later to find out about his father with North Carolina, I said, okay, makes sense. And I always thought Bill will set up something for his son, his legacy in college football with his son, and I think that's what he's doing. Me personally, I would love to see Bill come back to the NFL, get the record. That's me personally. That's me being selfish, this close for him to getting that all-time winning record, Coach. I would love to see him do that, but I don't know if that's on his radar or not right now. But, good luck with him. It's going to be interesting, but I think, Saban and Bill Belichick share the same mind frame, you know what I mean? And they know how to build teams and build organizations. So I think Bill will be okay. Building North Carolina to what he sees fit as a winning culture, and see what happens after that.
It's amazing to me that it seems like nobody wanted him, and supposedly a number of his representatives reached out to a few teams,
right.
And everybody said either we're not ready to discuss this or we don't want you. I mean, like if the Jets wanted legitimacy and credibility. Yeah. And he wanted the Jets.
Yeah.
Would that be like the weirdest thing that you could ever imagine?
It would have. Yes. It's like going against everything that we've known of Bill Belichick and the Jets
Can
relationship.
Can you tell us what he would tell you before you were getting ready to play the Jets?
But you know what? Honestly, the thing is, Bill never once, I remember, sitting and ever told the team what his beef was with the Jets. It was just like one of those things, like you come here like, okay, we hate the Jets. Okay. Win the division. We hate the Jets. Okay. And then, you read things about Bill and the Jets firing, never was a head coach for one day. And it's like, okay. So it was never nothing needed to be said when we played the Jets. And I think everybody just felt that way. We knew it was just a different beef when it came to the Jets. Not only they were in the division, but it was the Jets. So, and then we rolled with it. Like I said, it was nothing he never told us.
But it's shocking that not one team wanted to even talk to him, other than the Falcons last year who decided to go with Raheem Morris.
But that's very shocking because I would have thought that the Giants, the history he had with the Giants and the Mara family, I would have thought that would have been a place he would have landed. They need a head coach. He would have been perfect fit.
Yeah, we kind of linked him there for a long time, and then they end up, once he took the North Carolina job, they're going to keep Brian Daboll and Joe Shane, and they did.
Yeah.
That was that. We always thought he would come back.
And even last year when you had the L.A. Chargers available, but they went and got Harbaugh.
Yeah, so which turned out to be good.
Exactly. But I was looking at me being Bill. I was looking at that. I'm like, that'd be an ideal spot for me. I don't need a lot of years. I have a quarterback. I got a pretty good system. The team pretty good. It's just a little few missing pieces. I can win there, right? But it went Harbaugh, which is cool. But like I say, I want to see it.
It was amazing to me. I was looking back at your career. So you get there in 2004, you win a Super Bowl your rookie year. You got all these maniacs in this locker room, and you got this coach. And I'm just wondering about like the relationships and just the different things that you could probably tell stories until the cows come home. I heard a story the other day that Mike Vrabel, I don't know if you were there yet, but Bill Belichick was talking about defense and linebackers, and he kept showing the New York Giants and Lawrence Taylor and Carl Banks and everything else. Yeah. And supposedly Vrabel dressed in a New York Giants uniform and came out to practices. Were you there for that?
I wasn't there for that, but trust me, I've heard a lot of stories about, things of that nature. But one thing Bill always tried to do is just, he had a special group of guys in New York. With Lawrence Taylors and Pepper Johnsons and Carl Banks and those guys, and they played this defense pretty damn good, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, he used to show us a lot of film on these guys, and we understood what he was doing. So I can only imagine. And then Mike Vrabel, understanding who Mike is a class clown. Like, I mean, he will speak his mind. He don't care if you like it or not. He don't care if you Bill or not. He's going to say what he has to say, and that's one thing I love about him. He is a true leader. And like I said, I can see him saying, well, Bill, F you. We don't want to hear about that. I can see him saying that too, like, well, he always has something up his sleeve, right? So, but that's the type of person Vrabel is. I mean, he's a hell of a person. He's well respected. He's going to say what's on his mind, and he's going to put the team first. He's going to coach his tail off. I tell you that because, like I say, playing with him and playing basically for him in Houston, I just understand the guy where he's coming from, and he's going to put team first, and he gonna know how to win. He know how to win games.
We're here with the great Vince Wilfork, who is promoting Tums. I am an acid reflux heartburn guy. Love myself some Tums. And the fantasy football pool where you can draft food-related items. And it says January 27th to February 9th, you're drafting New Orleans foods for this pool. If you have the #1 overall pick in the New Orleans food draft, where are you going?
Oh, man, me personally, I'm a boudin guy.
What?
I'm a boudin.
Boudin?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is.
I don't know what that is.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
See, I mean, a lot of people don't. You have to. Anybody that's in Louisiana, when I say boudin, they know what I'm talking about.
It's like an oxtail type of thing?
No, it's like
is it jambalaya? Is it like a jambalaya?
No, it's like a rice. It's like a rice and meat and veggies mixed in this casing, like a sausage casing, stuffed it. Yeah, it's boudin. Yeah.
I never had
when you finish, read about boudin.
I will, because I would have gone either beignet or muffaletta, depending on where I'm at.
I'm a big beignet guy.
Yeah,
love a good beignet.
But I mean, like, listen, I'm a meat. I like something with substance. So
so muffaletta.
You used to like a lot more with substance. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
I mean, at the height of your weight, the heaviest you played was how much?
About 365.
Now, I asked you about Ted Washington, who played with the Buffalo Bills, San Francisco. He got around a little bit. And that guy was how much?
Ted had to be about 400.
400.
I mean, and what I tell people is, for one, he's the greatest nose tackle of all time. I mean, true nose tackle, greatest of all time, Ted Washington. So I watched a lot of film on Ted, learning how to be a nose tackle, you know. And he was just a big dude. Ted is 6'5", so he carried it well, but when you're next to him, he's a mountain of a man.
He was a wide load, man.
Yeah, he was a big guy. So I have to say he was pushing 400, but he carried it well, you know.
So you were a nose tackle and a defensive tackle. You were drafted as a defensive tackle at a college, and then you go to the Patriots. They make you a nose tackle.
Yeah, turn me into a nose tackle.
All right. So what's the difference? I know what the difference. I'm just trying to say, like, what the biggest difference between being a nose tackle and a defensive tackle is what?
Two gap. Well, true nose tackle is two gap. And what I did in my whole career before I got to New England, I was a defensive tackle. I was a Warren Sapp. I was a penetrator, one gapper. That means if I'm in a gap, that's my gap. Well, no matter where it goes, I'm in that gap. I got to get it. When I got to New England, I became a true nose tackle, which is, you know, two gapper. Well, I'm in charge of both A gaps. You know, it's not
either side of the center, but you can't get pushed one way.
I can't get pushed one way. I have to control the block. I have to stay on blocks. You know, everything was opposite when I got to New England. Like in college, it was like you don't stay on the block. You boom, you hit the gap, you go. Well, when I got to New England, it's like no, you don't hit no gap. No, you backside. You know, you sit here. Everything is slowed down, and it took me a while. It took me 3 years.
Wow.
To really.
So Belichick saw that in you.
He saw something in me, yeah.
And how do you have a conversation with a coach who's trying to make you do something that you're not used to doing?
Man, let me tell you something. It was like, I don't know what the hell this is, coach. Like, I'm not used, like, hold this guy. What? Like, no, man, I'm hitting it and getting it. But he saw something in me. Like, and that's why I have to tell people, and people have to understand, I had to learn a totally new position.
Even though it's only about 3 feet away from the other position.
I had to learn that. I had to learn how to be a nose tackle.
Joe, the guy sitting next to me here, Gio, was an offensive lineman in high school.
Oh, Lord.
He was, man. And, you know,
line.
Every now and then we actually do have scrimmages here at the station.
Lord.
And so one day we had a scrimmage here, and Stephen, if you could find that tape showing Gio, you got to see him pancake our own nose tackle here, Sean Marash.
Yeah, he was talking a lot of trash, and he outweighs. So I'm in the red helmet, and my butt crack comes out a little bit there. But I pancaked the guy. You see there, that was me. Yeah, wearing the Terps helmet. But look at
watch the center. Watch the center.
Bang,
watch what happens
put the head down.
Center. You see the center wearing the Tampa Bay?
He's too high. First of all, the low man wins, and that's what happened. What happened to the center down on the ground?
Yeah, that's the center. That's our producer there, Al Dukes, right there.
Yeah,
he got steamrolled. He took both of them out. Look at him.
Yeah, man, I was fired up that day. Yeah,
I was pancaked.
So what I'd like to do is after we get done with you, maybe we can go back out there and we
No, it's okay. No, I'm just not. You know, my knee today.
I'm retired. You safe. Trust me. You safe. I'm washed up. You're good. You're good.
Oh my goodness. So to me, you're a Hall of Famer, no?
I mean, it's not up to me.
But I mean, you got to feel like
Well,
you got a pretty good chance to get in at some point.
But the thing is, like, what's the criteria? And I'll tell you,
one of the best defensive tackles of all time.
Well, I'll tell you this. If it's about stats, no.
But here's the deal, Vince. I got on this radio program back in 2007, and I was screaming from the high heavens for one Joe Klecko to be a Hall of Famer. Yeah. And I played against Joe. Yeah. I had a center by the name of Dave Remington who played at Nebraska who couldn't sleep the night before. Yeah. We were roommates, and he'd be rubbing his feet together because he knew he had to play against Joe Klecko. Yeah. And Joe was an animal on the field. And everybody who played with him, Marty Lyons, Mark Gastineau, Abdul Salam, they all benefited from playing with this guy. Right. He was that much of a disruptor. And finally he gets finally gets in.
Yeah.
Eventually what it's going to take somebody that you played against, your own teammates, you know, the offensive line that you saw in and out every year, really going out there and lobbying for you. Because that's what it takes. People forget how great players were. Yeah. The farther you're away from it, and the more Aaron Donalds there are, the Quinnen Williams of the world, you know, these great players that we see today, they tend to forget how important somebody like you were to your team.
Yeah, you know, and I never played once. Never growing up or never playing saying I wanted to be a Hall of Famer. You know, I play the game because I love it. I love my teammates, and I just love the game of football. You know, that's even now. It's like I care less. Like if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. Like I wanted to be the greatest teammate I could possibly be and win. That's it. And whatever comes with that, comes with that. So if it happens, it happens. If it don't happen, don't happen. But I can tell you this: I was in everybody's offense's playbook game plan. I was there.
Yes, they had to take care of you, man.
And not only that is you had to find me because I started off a nose tackle, but once I got more and more better at what I did, my craft, well, Bill moved me. So now I'm lining up at defensive end. I'm playing, 3 technique. I'm playing 2 technique. I'm in sub packages. So now you have to find me. Like year 4 and 5, now you have to find me because I'm not just lined up over the nose. So I played from top to bottom, from left to right, and I did it all, so.
Hey, before you go, what do you think of Tom Brady as a broadcaster?
I don't know.
Been stared at like that in my life, other than my wife giving me those eyes.
I mean, it's like, he's very knowledgeable of the game. Like, that's what it is, but I would rather be my quarterback than on TV doing what he's doing now.
Okay.
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
I love him for my quarterback.
And he may only be doing it this year. He's so involved with the Raiders ownership. I wouldn't be surprised. I think there's a lot of rumblings. He does the Super Bowl and it's done.
I heard I heard there's a lot going on with, legally what he can and cannot do. So
So what's going? What do you think? Do you think Deion goes to the Cowboys?
Oh man.
What would you think of that? Do you see him as a head coach in the NFL?
I don't know. To me, Deion means so much to the game itself. And I think he can pour more into the young kids in college than the NFL. That's what I truly believe. But what do he want to do? Now, if his ultimate goal is to be a head coach for the America's team or a head coach in general in the NFL, he got to do his best for him. But me looking in at what he means to football and what he means to me in general, I think he's more important for kids coming out of high school, at college,
right?
Teach you the game and teach you about life, and I think that's a pivotal moment in a young kid's life to be. And I think he's perfect where he's at in college.
One of my lasting images of you. And was when you were with the Texans, and you showed up, and it was on Hard Knocks.
Baby.
Yes, you had the overalls.
I should have brought them in because it's cold enough.
That's what I asked. I asked if you were going to wear those. What were you thinking that day?
Well, you know what the thing was? It's like I used to have a ranch in Florida, and when I go out to my ranch, I used to dress like that. I used to put my overalls on. I used to have all different colors. I would put my overalls on. I'll go to work, my boots, I would go to work.
That's great.
And this is right before camp, so we talking about 90 to 100 degrees in Florida, so I'm, and we was just having one of those practices, in like a couple days, and it was just a crappy practice. Nobody was engaged. Like, it was just one of those sad, like, you know how those dog days is.
Sure, yeah.
And I said, you know, I have to do something to kind of lighten this mood because we're not getting nothing done. We've been cursed out every day. Like, okay, enough is enough. So I say, you know what, this is what I'm going to do.
And that was Bill O'Brien who was
Yes.
cursing you out.
So I said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go on and put my little outfit on. It was fitting. Well, I'm in Texas. So I'm like, I'm going to put my outfit on and I'm going to go to work and see. And you know what? It did the trick. You know, and I think part of being a leader, that's you have to be able to see and understand how to get through to players and people. And I think that for me, it was like, okay, what can I do to lighten this load because we're not there? What can I do? So you bring a little laughter, and it helped, and it did it. You know, we laughed, we joked about it. I mean, the whole day, and then, you know, guess what? The next day, we're back at it. We don't think about dog days. We back practicing. We getting stuff done. So I just had a good time with it. My teammates was great about it. I mean, I just knew we needed something to happen, and what Bill O'Brien was doing wasn't working. So I'm like, Coach, let me step in.
That is tremendous. This Tums Fantasy Football Pool is a great idea. They got the Spicy Foods draft, the 13th to the 19th, 20th to the 26th, Sweet Foods, and then the New Orleans Foods leading up to the Super Bowl on February 9th. So go check it out. And Tums, man, they've been around and they've been effective for a very long time. The Tums is in my cabinet all the time. They do a great job, so we're happy that you're here on behalf of them, and we appreciate the time. Vince, thanks for coming in.